Today, we're talking about emotions, rationality, and the brain. And you're going to learn why it's so important to cater to your customers' emotions with your marketing. If you're unsure of what emotional marketing looks like, don't worry. If you're alive and watching this, you've seen plenty of emotional marketing out in the wild. These are the ads that evoke our core emotions of happiness, sadness, surprise, and disgust. Before we discuss the insane power of emotional marketing, I need to make sure you know the difference between an emotional ad and a rational ad. So here's an emotional example of happiness at work.
Don't look now. Chuck Norris is right behind you.
I heard superheroes read Chuck Norris comics.
I heard at night the boogeyman checks under the bed for Chuck.
I heard cats say they have Chuck-like reflexes. You think he still got it?
I'll bet you $1 he catches a salt shaker.
You're on.
Hey, Chuck!
You owe me $1.
You can't always see what's coming, but when you choose United Healthcare, finding an in-network doctor that's close to home is easy.
So what happened?
I had lunch with Chuck Norris.
United Healthcare.
That product tie-in with the personal injury caused by Chuck, that's some good marketing right there. Love that commercial. The contrast to emotional marketing is rational marketing. Samsung has offered to show us what a lesser rational ad looks like. Take a peek.
Welcome to the future. Welcome to the new Samsung Galaxy S. With the world's largest Super AMOLED screen, the power to perform at super fast speeds, and a huge collection of apps from Android Market, including Google Maps with voice search and turn-by-turn navigation. It's our best Android-powered phone ever. The Samsung Galaxy S. Welcome to more.
Did you notice the difference between that Samsung ad and that United Healthcare ad? You just feel different after seeing both of those ads. That Samsung ad talks about the yawn-inducing features of the phone, the gorgeous screen, the fast speed. Features are great, and a small amount of consumers love rational product specs. But the majority of consumers purchase on how the product makes us feel, not on specs. Ads that make you laugh, smile, feel awkward, or just make you say, "Aww." These are the ads that are marketing to your emotions. Emotional marketing is the pinnacle of advertising. And it's far more effective than ads that take a rational approach to their messaging. We're gonna remember those two old guys bantering about Chuck Norris, and then Chuck kicking that salt shaker right at the old guy's face. We may not remember that that commercial is for United Healthcare, but we're far more likely to share that commercial with friends and family, and even possibly recall that brand when we see it out in the wild. The Samsung ad, on the other hand, is just plain forgettable. As consumers, we like to think that we make rational, well-educated purchasing decisions. The reality is the vast majority of us are far, very far from rational. Our irrational behavior is why we add another item to our online shopping cart just to get free shipping. It's why we buy brand name medicine when the generic is exactly the same. And it's why we prefer certain brands over others. Eliciting an emotional response in your customers has proven to increase intent to buy a product, increase brand likability, increase consumer loyalty, and increase brand sales. With that kind of results, you can't afford to sit there and tout your benefits and features in a rational manner. You must connect with your customer on an emotional level with all of your ad creative. In order to create emotional advertising for your brand, you must understand the emotions you're trying to evoke. There are 4 core emotions we experience in life: happiness, sadness, surprise, and disgust. We can break these core emotions down into sub-emotions. For example, humor is a sub-emotion of happiness. For now, we're going to table the sub-emotions and take a deeper dive into 2 ads with very strong opposing emotions of happiness and disgust. The first is an adorably cute ad by Google Android that just makes me happy and feel good and make me say, "Aww." Check it out. The feeling you experience while watching that ad is actually a measurable neurochemical response in your brain. Specifically, the neurochemicals serotonin and oxytocin. A quick brain lesson if you didn't take Psych 101 in college. Serotonin creates your greater mood. And in the case of the baby goat climbing on a horse, that mood boost is quite positive. Oxytocin is the neurochemical behind empathy. And combined with the images of this ad, it promotes connection and care. These two chemicals are delivered in high doses while you're watching this ad. By connecting these blissful images with the Android brand, we subconsciously associate a positive experience to the brand regardless of what our rational brain is telling us. Perhaps you've had an Android phone before, maybe you've even had a bad experience with Android. But after seeing this commercial, that experience may be now perceived as a little less negative than before. If you've never used an Android phone before, you're feeling that the brand starts off pretty high and positive. This may not cause you to switch from your iPhone to an Android. However, if Apple continues to let you down in some sort of way, you're going to be more open to switching in the future. And if you do eventually switch brands, you're going to start with an already happy emotion tied to the Android brand. This means you're going to be more willing to maintain that positive association through actual negative experiences. And that is insanely valuable marketing. Happiness, like we just experienced in this Android commercial, is the emotion that I see most common in advertising today. Happiness typically doesn't offend people, and I think it's the easiest emotion to design advertising and copy and imagery. As for a more complex and risky emotion to associate with your brand, let's take a look at an example of disgust.
Happy birthday to you. Make a wish.
Granny.
Hello. Have you done your homework?
Adam.
For a general strike.
Ready or not? Here it comes.
Violent clashes with
Live ammunition against. Deserve to get shot.
Have a nice day at school.
airstrikes on rebel position.
We are going to stay.
What's happening?
Go.
Have they found some enrichment?
Dad, where are we?
Rebel forces advance.
Daddy!
Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, darling.
Wow. Whether or not you agree with the messaging of this ad isn't the point. The point is we're getting huge doses of neurochemicals from this ad. This time it's from the stress chemical called cortisol, as well as a return of oxytocin. Cortisol is the neurochemical that's associated with stress, and it's used in advertising to cause us to become highly engaged in the story being told, allocating all of our brain's attention to the imagery on the screen. Additionally, we're hit with a dose of oxytocin that causes us to empathize with a little girl as her world is just torn apart. As this ad concludes, I just feel compelled to care. It's all that anger and disgust just kicking in. I can imagine what my life would be like in a war-torn society. I'm able to relate to the chaos and fear the girl is experiencing, her parents and her family. I'm able to connect on a deeply emotional level And that is very powerful advertising. Disgust does not suit most brands. Using a negative emotion to elicit a positive purchasing result is very difficult. But I wanted to show you a more risky example of advertising because when done properly, disgust can be extremely effective. We buy what we feel, not what we think. So the next time you're brainstorming for an ad campaign, whether it's video, images, copy, or an email, be sure to explore how your product makes you feel. Then take those feelings and design a campaign that leverages the natural responses of your brain and effectively evokes those feelings in your customers. Focusing on your features, specs, and pricing can get you sales in the short term, but evoking a true emotional response in your audience leads to brand loyalty far beyond a single campaign. I'm Francis Donovan. This is Mystemic Marketing. If you like this post, hit that like button. If you want more marketing knowledge for startups and small businesses, hit that subscribe button, and we'll chat soon.